Thank you, Cătălin. So my name is George Lemnaru, and I'm going to talk about how to get funding. And that's because probably you thought that when you have a gaming company, you're going to spend most of your time building games. Well, if you're here, you probably realize that that's sadly not so true. So we're going to talk first of all about my favorite subject, which is me. I'm trying to compensate the lack of fun in the presentation with jokes. Good thing is that that was the last one. So I'm going to talk about our experience in getting investment. Then we're going to talk about some things that we learn along the way. And at the end, it will be a Q&A session. So I started in 2006, my first gaming startup. We got investment from outside the country. Getting investment in Romania probably at that time probably was quite dangerous. In 2013, we started Green Horse Games. We learned a lot from getting investment for e-Republic, the first startup. And we learned from the good parts. We learned also from our mistakes. So the Green Horse Games things with the investors went even better. We met Mălin. Mălin Ștefănescu was our angel investor. I met him about 8 months before we made the deal, 8 months before we signed. And it was his first investment in Romania, and I just met him earlier, and I told him that he was our best and only option at that moment, because investors in 2013 in Romania were pretty. They didn't realize what gaming is, what's this, how can you make money out of games, and Mălin was bold enough to invest in us. What happened is that during all those 8 months, we spent time into we were reporting to him and to other people that were discussing. We reporting about our plans. We talk about how we're progressing, and towards when things were started to be clear that we're gonna work together. We started to do also some board meetings, so-called board meetings, unofficial board meetings. And that was really helpful because during this time, he helped us, he started to understand the business better. He started to see the way that we're working. So he started to trust us. While on my case, I started to realize that I like working with this person, and he will be a support for the company, which turned out that he indeed was a support. Mălin was the type of investor that when things went down, he was there to support us and believe in us. While when things were going really up, he was there to remind us to keep our feet on the ground. So he's the best type of investor. 1.5 years later, we got an investment from Catalyst Romania. Bogdan Iordache was the person that invested. And later, Mălin, Marius Ghenea was in our board from Catalyst Romania. And different type of investor, they were more focused on the financial administrative part of the business, the boring part, the one that you wouldn't want to focus. So they're helpful from this side, but much more than that, where they helped a lot was the moment when he had the deal with Miniclip. That's because in 2020 or 2021, Miniclip became the majority shareholder from Green Horse Games. So they're really helpful. They're really helpful with their network. They're really helpful with their experience in those kind of deals. What we're doing, Forgot to tell you what we're doing at Greenhorse Games. We're building mobile games, and I'm saying we're building mobile games. I'm saying that we come up with the idea, we are develop the game, and we are also marketing. So it's we're having all the fun with those games, riskier, but clearly with higher potential. So, first question is, should I raise money? And the answer is no. If you're aiming for a small, nice lifestyle business, or you're uncomfortable with having more responsibility. When you're meeting an investor, probably the speech that you get is that we believe in you. We like to make people like you successful. In reality, what they're saying is that we have this money and we want to have more money after we invest in your startup, and that's okay. That's okay. It's not only okay, it's great because this helps you build your company successful. They take a lot of risk, and it's okay for you to have as a responsibility to make that investment profitable. And you should, if you're okay with that, you should, and if you're planning to build a big business, a scalable business, and if you want to go faster and further, then I think choosing the right investors is really, really helpful. There are different types of game investors, and very simplified ways. You can go to accelerators, and they help you with know-how and connections. You can go to angel investors, those early believers, and venture capital, which can help you to scale your game. I'm not covering publishers. We didn't work with publisher. We heard great stories. We also had like horror stories about working with publisher. In our case, we didn't choose a publisher because we went the hard way of learning how to do marketing ourselves. And we chose that because it's also helpful for you as a product developer to be in contact with your potential audience, with your potential players, to understand what works in the marketing campaigns, what doesn't work, and to learn from that and apply in your game. So this was our path, and we were happy with that. It worked out in our case. What investors are looking for? They're looking for, first of all, they're looking for a great team. And that's very important because the biggest reason why startups fail is lack of chemistry between founders. Of course, complementary skills help a lot, but more important than that is important how the founders get with each other. If the founders are fighting and they break up, then the startup will be affected. I was lucky to have as a co-founder Alex Troie, and he was very supportive and we made a very good team. Another thing that they are looking for is original gameplay and intellectual property. If you're building a company that builds games for other companies, again, it's less risky, but on the other hand, is the potential is lower and that's not so exciting for investors. The market potential is important if your game is too niche, or if it's targeting just a Romanian audience, then again, not so exciting for investors. It's important also to have a clear monetization plan. This idea that let's build a game and gonna see how it monetize, it doesn't work. So again, that's usually a big no for investors. And it's important for investors to see early traction, to see feedback from players, preferably in KPIs, that your game has a big potential. How to approach investors? Well, just talk to people. Talk with people that might know investors. Usually, most of the people are nice and they want to help, and that's okay. So don't be afraid of asking for connections to investors, with investors. How do you prepare for investment? Meet investors early. If you're looking for, so meet investors much earlier than the moment when you're looking for funding. When you need the money, you should already have the connections built with investors, and you're going to use that time to build trust together with the investors. And during this time, your investors will start to understand better what you're building. They're going to start to even help you with advice. So, and they're going to realize that your plans, that you are able to turn your plans into reality. So this is something that is, I cannot state enough. Speak with people as soon as possible. And what should you ask? Should you ask them? Of course, in the beginning, you don't have any idea about how much your company values. You don't know what to ask. Well, the simple thing is ask for advice. And most of them will help you with advice or connections. You're going to meet a lot of investors that are relevant for you in terms, or your startup at that moment is relevant for them because they invest in a different industry, because they invest at a different level, maybe at a higher level than your company is. But they might still help you with advice and connections to investors that might be the right fit for you. Build credibility, post on LinkedIn, game awards, media mentors. Well, one thing to mention here, we were, at least in the beginning, we were really bad at this. We didn't post too much about what we were doing. Every time we participating at startup competitions, we were constantly losing. The winner usually in 1 year was going bankrupt. So it's good to build this image, but don't forget that more important is to actually build a successful company. And meanwhile, as you work on your product, constantly focus on marketing tests, test your ads, test your beginner's experience, get in constant connection with your potential players and with your players to get feedback so that you can adapt your message and your experience. It's important to build as early as possible a pitch deck. I won't enter into details about what should the pitch deck include, but like very short, like investors need a very simple way to understand who you are, what you're building, and where you are. So that's a must-have. It's very easy to find on the internet. Different types of like advices how to build a pitch deck. There's also an ask at the end of the pitch deck is like how much you're raising. Well, at least in the beginning, you're going to replace this idea like we're raising, I don't know what million at 4 million post pre-money valuation. You can change them with we need advice. So, and that's very nice. That's okay. When you start the first negotiation, again, you ask for advice. It's very important to explain in a simple way so that your investors understand what you're doing, what you're building. People have they don't like to invest in things that they don't understand. It's important to know your numbers, lifetime value, cost per install, monthly active users. It's important to focus on that, and that's a good thing, and that's a clear sign also for investors that you're not focused on the product, you're focused on your players, and you're focused on the business side. and of course understand basic stuff about getting investment. One thing that I'm doing when I'm doing something for the first time, I try to contact people that went through this and ask them how that thing went for them. So I'm trying to learn also from other people's experiences. Try to avoid pitching an idea. We all have ideas. The question is, what did you build? Show a prototype, show something. Avoid unrealistic projections. As an entrepreneur, you're clearly an optimist, and that's okay to be optimist, but you need to build your KPIs and build your formulas in a realistic way to aim for tangible, successful stories. And as a side note, always have a plan B. Your plan A, most of the time, more than 90% of the cases, it will not work. So it's important for you to have a plan B. Avoid having a just need money mindset. Try to get smart money. Try to get money from people that have experience, that can help you, and also try to plan for future rounds, because that's probably not the only investment round that you're going to get. As conclusions, pitch early but show something. Good investors back teams, not products. Think business, not just games. And start building relationships today. One thing that, because I have more time, I want to mention something that not many people know, is that besides Catalyst Mălin Ștefănescu, we were very close to sign with a Bulgarian fund back in 2013. We set up the deal, so we just had to sign it. But during this time, you realize that the game that we're building is not the right game for us. I mean, you can make a little bit of money, but it doesn't have the potential to motivate us to work furthermore. So we decided that we're going to pivot. So we're going to build another different game. And we had two options. One option is to don't say anything and sign the deal. And then after we get the money, we let those investors know that we're going to we start from scratch with a different product. The second option was to inform them and tell them, this is what we decided and this is what we're going to do. That's something that you need to know. First option, it meant that we're getting the money, but we're going to have a really unhealthy relationship with your investor. Second option was riskier. What happened is that we informed the investment fund. They understood. They said that, okay, but this changes the deal. They came up with a different type of deal, which we were not happy. So basically, we lost that deal, which short term, of course, was a bad thing for us. Long term was a bad thing for them. The company was the majority shareholding was bought by Miniclip 6 or 7 years later in one of the biggest gaming industry exists in the Eastern Europe. Good or bad, for me, it's important to have a healthy relationship with my investors. Why? Because when you getting investment is not a one-night stand, it's a long-term relationship. So it's important to be built on a healthy basis. And with that, I'm going to finish and wait for your answers, your questions.
Thank you, George. Right, so let's take a couple of questions from the audience. Anyone? Okay.
Okay, so thank you for presentation, very insightful. I would like to ask you how long takes to you to publish your game. You said you made by yourself. You didn't attend or took a publisher. So how long?
So how much time it took the development of the game? So usually what happens, and most people that I speak with, the story is like we're working on this game since 2 years ago, and we run out of money, so we have to launch. And what happens too often is that they launch it, they found the problems that you cannot know about those problems if you're just developing the game, but they don't have any more time to fix those problems. So what we're doing, we're having a system in which we're testing as soon as possible. So we're testing the idea before we write our first line of code. We're doing marketing tests with different ideas, one of them being the one that we favor, and we get to see how people react on those ads. Then after we get the answer, next thing we're doing, we're building the beginner's experience, but not as a product, but more like images, interactive images that you can put on your phone and show to a friend. And we see how people react. And on Football Rivals, our main game, the first part took, I think, about 1 month of testing the ads, or less than that, 2 weeks maybe. The second part was, it took us about 2 months, and just on the 17.1 version, we managed to build an interface and a beginner's experience that people recognize what this game is about and what they have to do. And only after that, we started developing the game. And we're trying to build as soon as possible so that in 2 or 3 months, you have something that you can play with, so that we get feedback as soon as possible. So we're trying to avoid this mindset of we're gonna go in our cave for 2 years and then show to the world, because you don't know. I mean, building a game, it needs all the right things to happen. If there's one thing that doesn't happen, then it won't be a successful game. And you'll find out what doesn't happen by testing the game with a real audience.
All right. One more quick question.
So I'm sure that one of the topics that comes up the most when talking about funding is monetization models. How do you think that monetization will change in the next 10 years, let's say, in the context of mobile games?
Well, we are, or at least I am, a big fan of in-app purchases system. We're applying this since 2007, when we thought that we're the inventors of that. We were not the inventors, but that's something that I really like, and I think that's something that will be out of the game industry, applied to other industries also. How it will evolve, we can see right now how this monopoly that the stores have on the monetization part is breaking away with tools like Xola. So that's something that is already changing. What will happen furthermore is hard to predict, but I strongly believe in this in-app purchases system, and probably little by little will be applied to more and more industries, not only mobile gaming industry.
All right, thank you very much, George.
Thank you.